What's going on, Reefing fam? March back again at it, Fragbox TV. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about what it's like owning your very own saltwater fish store. Another day, another video. You know what? You guys enjoying the videos? I hope you are. I can see that because we keep getting subscribers. In the last 6 months, we shot up almost 10,000 now, which is pretty cool. And we usually get pretty good, decent amount of likes on the video. So it shows me that you guys are enjoying them. So I'm going to keep making them. But a video a day, it takes time. It takes time out of the day, but I'm really enjoying making them. And today I'm just feeling grateful looking at the store. And we're having some issues actually with this system over here, but it gave me the idea for today about what it's like to own a saltwater reef store. This location, Fragbox, if you don't know, we are here in Toronto. We've been in this location now coming up on 4 years. Our old one was about 4 or 5 years. Before that, started in my mom's basement. In the hobby, I think I'm about 15 years altogether right now. As a business, I want to say maybe 10 to 11 years. This store is about 1,200 square feet, maybe a little bit smaller. If you've ever been here on the weekends, you know that it's not a terribly big store. If you're ever thinking about opening one of these, try and keep your overhead low. That's just one point of advice I want to give you. We do have a basement where we're able to hide a lot of the stuff, but what it's like owning the store, I absolutely love it. I can't imagine doing anything else. I'm here almost every day out of the week. There's always something to do in the shop, but it never actually feels like work. There are times where it's stressful, absolutely. Like I said right at the beginning of the video, this system over here, we ran into some issues with cyano and then chemiclean and then carbon, and now I'm having trouble with zoas, and it can be stressful. We're dealing with livestock, and there's two sides to that. One, they're living animals that I care about, and I want them to live and do well and grow because I'm an animal lover at heart, right? Mr. Diggs, he can agree. And that's one side to it. And the other, it's a business. So I want them to grow and do well so I can frag them and propagate and take home an income and pay my mortgage at home. So when stuff doesn't do well, this hobby is definitely not for the faint of heart, and stuff can go sideways quite quickly. So these systems are, in a way, quite delicate. This one is getting older, so it's easier to keep. It's almost kind of taking care of itself, and it doesn't hurt to have a company like this on your side. The entire store is hooked up to Apex. We have some serious automation going on every single tank here in the store. But when stuff is not going well, it's very stressful. And like I said, they can be delicate. So if you've ever lost corals, you can imagine, or maybe you know that feeling, what it's like to lose a coral in your tank. It's not a nice feeling. Or maybe you're going through troubles with your tank and you have those late nights where you're watching YouTube videos trying to figure out what's going on or what's wrong, or you know, you're on Reef to Reef or Reef Central, some of the best forums, and you're researching and it's not such a nice feeling. Well, it's kind of like that, except now it's tied to your income. So in a way, it can be stressful. With the years of experience of keeping these tanks, it's getting easier and easier, and I feel less of that stress. And we have an amazing customer base here in Toronto, right across Canada actually, because we ship the stuff. So that definitely helps. Lots of support. You know, I could pick up my phone and call 10 customers. If I said, yo, Jim, Jerry, Jack, and John, one of my tanks is leaking, I know that these guys would get out of bed in a heartbeat, any time of day, drop what they're doing and come give me a hand, grab a bucket and a mop. And that's one of the really cool things about having a store like this, is that the people that come in here generally are all coral and fish lovers. I don't know how many of our customers, I can't tell you how many of them are divers and snorkelers and just share that same passion that I do about the hobby and the animals. And it's really cool because you get to connect with a lot of like-minded people like that, and it just happens that over time you naturally become friends. They come in the store. We have some people that come in every single day on the way home from work, or every single Sunday. This almost becomes a ritual for them to come into the shop, and we love seeing them and talking and sharing, conversing, all things reef related. And it's really cool to become friends with these people even outside of the store. I don't know how it happens, but one day, you know, you're serving them and bagging corals, and then before you know it, you're sitting down at a bar and having a beer with someone. And it's a really nice sort of aspect of the hobby. I've met some of my best friends that have started out as customers, but obviously you don't open a business to try and make friends. What else can I tell you about owning it? I love the hardware. So as much as I love what goes into the tanks and all the living stuff, I love the build. I love designing it. When somebody comes in and they're either new or maybe they're not new, they're upgrading from a smaller tank and they're looking for the lights, the skimmer, the pump, the return pumps, the wave makers, the heaters, the refractometers, the controllers, everything, all this fun, all these toys that go into the hobby. I really love all of that aspect. I love getting the newest and the best stuff, trying these things out, doing video reviews for you guys. That's really an enjoyable part for me. It's almost like it's kind of like a side hobby to the hobby of keeping corals, is all the goodies that go into building it. And it's a hobby that will definitely reward you if you're handy and good at DIY. You know, I see people string together their own LED lights. You don't necessarily have to go out and spend, you know, $1,000 on a light like this, even though they're well worth it. They're awesome lights. If you're handy, the hobby will definitely reward you, and so will setting up a store like this. If you're watching this video and maybe have an idea to set up a store, or you're in the middle of one, you're looking for guidance, or I don't know, some sort of consulting or experience, if I can share that in any way with you, I'd be happy to do it. Obviously, if you're opening up across the street, you know, I'm not looking to actively create competition for us. So I may not give you that sort of advice, but maybe you're in the States or you're in Asia or wherever. I don't know where you're watching the video from. So why not comment below and let us know? Because I love seeing where you guys are from. I'm happy to give you and share any of the experiences and give you any advice when it comes to owning a store like this. The staff that works here, these guys are freaking awesome. If you've come in right now, I don't know when you're watching this video, it's 2021 of June, so Tia's the manager. We just signed on Jonathan, JC, we got Matt and Dylan, and the staff that works here, they're really incredible. They truly care about the animals. They come to work every day with their A game because they're hobbyists first and they work here second. But every single person that works in this store started here as a customer. I'll say that again. Everybody that works here was at one time a customer of Fragbox. And I think that's really cool. And a lot of times I'll approach them if I kind of, you know, for us, culture is really important, that they jive with the team. So if I feel like someone would be a good fit, we're not necessarily hiring. We just ask for a resume and throw it out there. And we're actually looking for some part-time help again coming up just at the end of the summer. So if you're in the Toronto area and looking to work here at Fragbox, drop off a resume. You know, we have a drawer full of them, and if we're ever looking to hire, you know, that stuff really counts. What else can I tell you about owning this business? It was sort of a kind of like a dream come true. It's not something you go to school for. There aren't any books really designed around starting something like this. People come in a lot and ask us, you know, when they're starting in the hobby, what are the best books for keeping a saltwater tank? I don't really know of any. It's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of time on forums, learning from others and modeling, other reef keepers, people that you meet, they teach you stuff. Like I said, trial and error, that's a huge one. YouTube videos, a lot of what I learned, I mean, outside of the hobby, like how to build an aquarium stand, how to wire a switch, how to set up all these lights. So I've actually built the entire store on my own. So all the shelving, all the electrical, all the plumbing, the stands, basically everything that you see in here, that's kind of like a hobby of mine. I'm really into DIY, construction, and that kind of stuff. So if you're into that, this hobby, again, will definitely reward you. And then opening a store, I think you need to have a lot of those skills, or it gets expensive very, very quickly. Oh, that might be a good point. What does it cost to open a saltwater store like this? I would say on the shelves at any given time, we probably have maybe $150,000 to $200,000 worth of hardware and equipment just sitting dry goods on the shelves. And if you ever walk into a store, I go into a lot of other stores just to get ideas. A lot of what I've done here has just been a mishmash of stores that I've visited throughout Europe and throughout the States. And every time I go into another store, I get an idea that I really like and an idea that I don't really like. I'm like, basically, let me steal that. Oh, that's really smart. You know, like this rock weighing station, I got this idea from, the name is escaping me, in Orlando. Huge company. Give me one sec. What's wrong with me? Sorry about that. Worldwide Corals. Anyways, this was their idea for weighing rock out. So every time I go into a store, I get an idea of something and I kind of steal them and implement them here. So yeah, about $250,000-ish, give or take, depending on the week in hardware. And then in livestock, it's really hard to put a number on it. I would say in order to open the store, we probably have about $50,000 to $100,000, that's Canadian dollars, worth of livestock on hand at any time. Maybe a little more actually if you count the fish and the invertebrates. And then the entire store in terms of the aquarium and the lights and the filtration, depending on how big you go, that's a really hard number to put on too. I want to say maybe 50 to 60 just to get this part set up in order to house the corals and stuff like that. So it's not a cheap endeavor. It happened slowly. Obviously, it didn't throw it all into it at once. It happened over the course of years, and the business slowly built up. But none of it would have been possible without the support of customers. Many people that come in here, we've been serving since day one. I mean, like since I started as an 18-year-old selling frags out of my mom's basement. Still seeing the same faces. People that get into this hobby, they quit, but I find that they often come back. So no one truly quits the hobby forever. They kind of just take a break. Sometimes they'll sell it or move or stuff like that. But people have been supporting us here at Fragbox for many of them a decade, which I can't say enough thanks to people like that. And that's it. It's been a dream. It's really fun to own the store. I enjoy coming to work every day, especially because Mr. Diggs is here, especially because we get to work with corals and animals, and it never truly feels like work. It's just so easy to make these videos and talk to customers and do this stuff because it really is a love and passion of ours. And if you're in the hobby, I think you can appreciate and understand that. And if you're not in the hobby and you're kind of researching and trying to get into it and not sure yet and maybe a little nervous, pull the trigger, just do it. You're gonna love it. If you're in freshwater and you've been thinking to go to saltwater, absolutely do it. Most of our customers that are in the hobby today started out with freshwater, and you get bored. I'm sorry, freshwater, amazing, great and all, but I can't tell you how many times we see people start with fresh, switch to saltwater, and then the freshwater just takes a back seat. It can't really compare once you start to create these amazing little marine ecosystems. This is starting to feel like the end of today's video. Like I said, again, if you guys are watching this and you're looking for any sort of advice in opening a store and you're not around the corner from us, hit us up. Our email is fragboxcorals@gmail.com. I'd be happy to share any experience or anything that may be of any guidance to you, because people over the years have shared with me, and I've learned from my mentors and my very good friends who also own stores, namely Reef Raft, who closed recently here in Toronto, but he taught me so much of what I know when it comes to keeping corals, especially SPS corals, hard corals, acroporas, that kind of stuff, and water changing, the importance of chemistry, testing, alkalinity, all that stuff I learned from my mentor. And yeah, he modeled after him, and I couldn't be happier with the way things turned out. But that's it for today's video, guys. I really appreciate you. If you've stayed watching this long, this is definitely one of the longer ones. I guess you're enjoying it, but please hit that like button. And if you haven't already subscribed, subscribe, because every single day, trying my best to do a video for you guys, because I enjoy them, because you enjoy them, because I enjoy them. So hit us up if you got any questions, and thank you very much for watching today's video of Fragbox TV.